Hello and welcome to the John Ark Show. Today's episode is called Nashville School Shooting Confirms Need for High-Tech Security. Before we begin, I want to encourage you to subscribe to our channel for free. You can also like, comment, and follow us. We're going to have a lot of great celebrity interviews coming up, so make sure to click on that notification bell so you can be notified every time we upload a new episode. Also, we ask that you post a link to today's show on all your social media to help spread the word. Now, let's get started. By now, everybody has heard about the Nashville school shooting, which affected so many lives. As usual, the media is obsessing over why this happened and what the motive was, but not enough attention is being given to how to prevent future attacks in schools. That's what's really important, preventing these events from reoccurring. So today we're going to discuss some options for the use of technology to strengthen and fortify our schools to help prevent this from happening over and over and over again. So here are some of the options and plans we think merit further evaluation for the protection of our schools. First of all, though it hasn't been confirmed yet, we suspect that a lot of school shooters are probably on some sort of prescribed psych meds. Some of these psych meds have in the past been known to cause people to engage in violence. And if that's the case, then I think that school administrators should be informed and told when a child is on psych meds so that they can be monitored for additional risky behavior. The big pharma companies won't like this, but the reality is that people do some strange things when they're on these psych meds, and if they're given more attention and better supervision, then maybe these events can be prevented before they ever happen. Next, we believe that schools need to place higher security at their entrances. They should install facial recognition systems at their doors, and if the system doesn't recognize your face, then you can't get in through the electronically locking doors. If an outsider tries to get in, then they will need to be checked in manually, and only then, if they pass the security check and their identities checked and the weapons check, then maybe the system will allow them into the building. Systems like this already are being used in many places and they aren't that expensive. You know what else? They are certainly far less expensive than all the lawsuits that will now be filed down in Nashville against the school and the administration and the family of the killer and a lot of other people as well, probably. Those will cost tens of millions of dollars, and that cost can be prevented with this kind of high-tech security. Next, we have video cameras inside and outside of schools monitoring everything. That's another mandatory sort of a feature these schools have to have. And since that's a lot of cameras to watch, then some students can be asked to volunteer to watch some of the camera feeds for half an hour a day in exchange for extra credit. And they can do this on their phones. They don't have to sit at a monitoring station, but that'll cut down on the manpower needed to provide that monitoring, and it will help protect the schools. If they see something strange or inappropriate or potentially dangerous, then they can notify the school immediately. The more eyes a school has watching things, the better. Now, over the last few years, a lot of schools have defunded their armed school safety officer programs. That, to me, was a very unwise decision. I believe that each school should have an armed safety officer who can patrol, investigate, and hopefully prevent an attack before it happens. What's important is that all these students know that an armed officer will be there to watch and hopefully prevent anything weird from going on. And if having an armed officer in your school offends you so much, then you're free to take your lunatic kid out of the school system and try to get them into another school. See how well that goes. I'm sure if all the parents were asked to vote on whether they wanted an armed officer in their school, the vast majority of them would be very happy to see that happen. Next, most schools and students have a smartphone with a camera. Those cameras can be used to record anything suspicious or criminal. Now, if a student does that and they prevent a crime, then they should be rewarded with extra credit or even money if they save lives. There's nothing wrong with giving bounties or rewards to students who help stop crime or prevent physical attacks. Now, I know what you're thinking, that if a criminal or some crazy student sees another student filming them, then they may go after them. Well, but guess what? What do you think they're going to do if they see 30 students recording them? Do you think that may prevent crazy ideas like retribution or revenge from entering their empty skulls? It probably would. The last thing some criminal student wants is to go into court to try and defend their criminal actions and then go up against 30 different videos of them performing that criminal activity, maybe robbing somebody, maybe assaulting somebody. That sounds like a great way to end up in jail. Now, let's talk about school riots. Just saying that sounds nuts, doesn't it? Rioting is very common now in grade schools and high schools. It used to be that when students got angry with one another, they would get into a fight. But now, those one-on-one fist fights, that's rare. Now, it more likely will be you and 10 of your friends fighting against the other guy and 20 of his friends. It may happen in the school or it may happen outside of the school, a couple of blocks away. The problem is that when these riots break out, they're very difficult to stop and control. There are videos out there of school riots blocking 6 lanes of a street. And even when the police show up, it's very difficult for them to control. It usually requires a lot of pepper spray and a lot of billy clubs and God knows what else, maybe even a fire hose or two. Here again, we think that having other students videotape everyone and then turning them over to the school and police so that they can be arrested or expelled would be an option to consider. One of the things that these mass killers have in common is that they usually need to gain entry into the school before they start hurting people. That's why it's so important to install double doors with electronic locks and cameras to prevent the wrong people from getting in or escaping and getting out. Remember, if a killer does get in and hurts people, they still need to get out, and if they try and leave through the double doors, then the system can open one of the bulletproof doors, but still prevent them from unlocking the second door so that they're trapped like rats in the building. Think of these double doors as a rat cage for crazy students that are trying to escape or force their way in. In addition to that, I suspect these doors would be a great visual deterrent to any future lunatic thinking of entering the school or doing something bad. Next, let's talk about the sharing of information of violent transfer students. If some lunatic gets thrown out of a school for being violent and gets transferred to another school, then that new school should be legally allowed to be informed about this new student's violent criminal history. Next, we have an issue with parents of crazy, violent students. If your child breaks the law or endangers other students, then parents of that crazy student should be required to come in and volunteer to monitor their crazy kid or some other crazy kids at least 1 day a week. And they should be forced to do this for free. If they have a problem with that, then they're free to take their lunatic kid out of the school and try and get him into another school or deal with him in some other way. But, there's no reason other students and parents should be subjected to your crazy kid's behavior. Next, there's the issue of intimidation. Students like to bully and attack each other, verbally insult other students. Schools need to instill a zero bullying policy. If someone videotapes your child bullying or intimidating another student at the school, then that video can be used to punish or expel them. A lot of time, bullying precedes physical assaults. So, do we think these new technology options will stop all crimes? No. But it may slow them down or reduce their numbers. Schools and parents and good students need to become more aware and more empowered by this sort of technology to protect one another. Thank you for watching. I want to encourage you to subscribe to our channel for free. You can also like, comment, and follow us. We're going to have a lot of great celebrity interviews coming up, so make sure to click on that notification bell so you can be notified every time we upload a new episode. Also, we ask that you post a link to today's show on all your social media to help spread the word. Thank you, and we shall talk to you soon. Bye-bye.